4 or 5 rich families, aristocratic families that ruled the kingdom for 400 years. It seems that the river was the separation of the lower and the upper class. Today, this is Copan town. We are 5,000 people living today, but they think that 1,500 years ago, the population of the valley probably overpassed 70,000. At this point, we may say that only 15% of the whole thing has been really scientifically excavated. These ruins of Copan were found by the Spanish conquistadors by accident. Okay, pottery. Everything you find on the surface, this is all 9th century. But if you start digging, every 5 centimeters we go on the ground, you're in a different phase of occupation. Tracing the ceramics in this region of Copan, we have come to the year 1000 BC, which is still to be discussed, is how the artists and laborers, they carve stone. Because the Maya classic societies were basically stone societies. The discovery of gold, silver, copper, that came a little later, 14th, 15th centuries by the Aztecs and Incas. This is supposed to be one of the most exotic patios of the royal house. They think during the rainy season, by blocking the drainage systems of this particular patio, they used to collect rainwater and flood the plaza to the level of this platform. You see that guy, the torch? Yeah. So to create the idea of the beach, an artificial lake, and the pyramids are actually our sacred mountains. It seems that each new ruler, they modified and recreated the royal house on his own version. He was the successor of this guy, the 12th ruler. His name is still in mystery. Smoke Jaguar, in the meantime. This is the man who married that noble woman from the royal house of Palenque to unify the 2 kingdoms, giving initiation to a political alliance that interacted for about 100 years. The son of this couple, this guy we know as Rabbit, the inheritor of a glorious reign from his father, according to the inscriptions in an archaeological site only 100 clicks away from here, in a satellite town of Copan called Kiriwa, this guy, he was kidnapped and publicly executed as part of a conspiracy they think orchestrated from Tikal, the big city of Tikal, 10 times bigger than Copan, that the last 2 rulers may not be part of the same family tree. And that's why they think all the public works and monuments dedicated to this man and this guy, they were all political propaganda. Graphic communication, 1,500 years ago, led these people to develop mathematics, astronomy, phonetics. There are about 9 or 10 different elements in each glyph, kind of very complex. An evil man, facing to the west, is supposed to be swallowed by the serpent. You see the upper jaw and lower jaw. And this guy is supposed to pass through a process of purification or transformation, so to reborn as a new creature. That was known as Kukulkan, but it's the same thing. Even the Aztecs, they also inherited this doctrine or belief. One family will be like 50 to 100 members, grandparents, grandmother, cousins, brother, sister. And the rich man, they will practice polygamy. One will expect to have 20, 40 cousins. So far, we have not found any ideas of any specific area that we may call cemetery. Among the upper class, the tradition was to bury their dead underneath the houses. So very commonly, archaeologists digging the central patio of the house, they have found hundreds of tombs. This is called the Plaza of the Jaguars. You see the jaguars dancing, stylized jaguars. Originally all painted in yellow color, and the black spots, obsidian discs, you know, obsidian, volcanic glass. Masterpieces. So the Congress, the Parliament, put it the Council House. The brick arrangement on the top, you see the emblem that they used to identify the governmental buildings. The next building is to be a big monster head. I mean, it's another sacred temple. It was built in the shape of a big monster head. You can still see the lower jaw of the monster with the molars and teeth. If you want to explore it, you climb those steps and see Temple 22, which is interpreted as the sacred mountain. It's been suggested that all the congregations, remember, 260 days in a year for fiestas, people, visitors, special delegations, they will come together into collective trances. It became very popular by the upper class to drink balche, sort of a hot tea prepared with those hallucinogenic roots from the desert, So people, high times. This is a classic southern ball court. The two slanty platforms and the three birds' heads, you see 3 and 3, were used to play a very popular game by the 8th century known as pukatok, which is a lost tradition. We have a very interesting, demanding game in which the birds' heads are the markers. They wanted to hit one of the birds' heads with the ball, so to score points. So the idea about the pukatok is that 3 defenders, they protect the birds' heads, and the rest, maybe 5 men in a line on the inclined platform, they support the attackants, the forwards that jump into enemy's territory to try to hit one of the birds' heads. Put it 12 people in each team, 24 players in action. More than players, they were actors. Supposedly, the ball games were dramas. Sometimes they will tell you the winners will be sacrificed, sometimes the losers, but this is all speculations. Because when the Spanish conquistadors arrived to Central America and Mexico for the conquest, they didn't come to sit and watch the games. They prohibited all intellectual activity, religious activities, and imposed a new system.
We're in the museum, and this particular temple was found a few years ago, almost completely intact, underneath 4 or 5 levels of other structures. And as you can see, the Mayans, here in Copan anyway, had a very, very high level of art. Here in Honduras, they say that Copan was the artistic capital of the Mayan Empire. And we certainly see lots of carvings. I've been to Tikal, which is in Guatemala. And Tikal was a major financial center, the richest of the Mayan cities. And they had huge buildings, huge pyramids, very big. But I don't remember seeing all these rock carvings and carvings that you see here. And unfortunately, the whole Mayan culture was at its peak from 200 AD to 900 AD, and then disappeared. All over, not just here, but Mexico, Guatemala as well. Nobody's quite figured out why. It must have been something that hit the whole area, whether it's a huge drought or couldn't have been a hurricane, earthquake, massive earthquake or something. But the whole area sort of disappeared. We've run into lots of civilizations like that on this trip and around the world, where for whatever reason, something is gone. People don't remember why it was there. Copan, nobody even knew was here. It was abandoned around 900 AD. Nobody stumbled on it again until the 17th, 16th century. Nobody started excavating it until the 19th century. Who knows what of our present-day civilizations, cultures, cities, temples will disappear and be forgotten 1,000 years from now.